Nicco, hi, how are you?
I'm good, Charles. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I am a little worried though, because you are
Wow.
my last P-Valley interview for the season.
Oh,
And I'm a little worried that after this, they're gonna turn the lights on.
what are they going to find when they turn the lights on, though,
That's
Charles?
that's the
That's the
question.
question.
Yeah. What happens when the
Oh,
music stops?
oh, baby. In the club, when the music stops, usually you keep dancing. If
Mm.
if it was a good night, if it was a good night, when the music stops, you keep dancing. You keep dancing because that music is in you. It's in you.
Tell me about you said that every room at the Pink sort of has different rules. Can you give me a bit of a floor plan? Tell me about sort of how is it set up? What's it like not being the owner this season? The having to share the pay. I say yours, Uncle Clifford is
Mhm.
the owner of the Pink. And when Uncle Clifford is no longer the owner of the Pink, how does that feel?
Charles, I had to breathe as you were asking that question because there was a part of me, I think Uncle Clifford was coming up and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I will always own the pink. You know, Uncle Clifford is always going to be the boss of that building. That building is more than just brick and mortar. It is a place of love. It is a spirit of love. The floor plan. The floor plan and the rules that exist in each of the spaces.
I think you talked about that, how each room has a different set of rules. You wouldn't
Each room,
expect Uncle Clifford's office to have the same rules as the Paradise Room, right?
this is true. Because in the Paradise Room, rule number four, you ho, you out the door.
Mm.
Um, so that is a room really that was created to again subvert the visual of the African American slave experience, in the South with being cotton pickers and working in the fields. And that is why the cotton is on the ceiling because it's like clouds and all of the women, the silhouettes of the women in the Paradise Room in season one are upside down because you may think that they're on a pole, but they're actually dancing on the ceiling. I think that in the champagne room is meant to socialize. That's why everything is in a circle, and you definitely have champagne. That's where the drinks are. That's where you want a little bit more privacy type of thing. The VIP is a certain level for your booth and the finances, and that's off of the main dance floor. And in the middle of the dance floor, we have Twerk Town, and Twerk Town is where it's not pole dancing that's happening, but a lot of floor work and a lot of physical isolations and twerking. That world over there is handled by most of the core girls. Um, Sometimes like Toy, the character Toy played by Olivia, she really runs Twerk Town. And it's different than like the bottle girls that happen in the club. So one of the things that most people don't know in strip club culture is that there is a hierarchy in the way things run. There are sweepers, male and female, who are there and assigned to different dancers on shifts that come in and sweep up the money. Or in certain clubs, they pick up the money themselves. You don't touch the other people's money. But dancers have to pay for tip out. They have to pay to go on the stage. They have to pay the rent, all those things. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that. And so watching the show, you get to see the economics behind it. You get to see that these are people who are really thinking about money and finance. These are people who are really more than just their occupation. So yeah.
I want to kind of take it backwards.
Okay.
I'm so fascinated to hear that P-Valley was a play first.
Yes.
You were involved
Mm-hmm.
with the play. A play and a show have their own space, their own sense of language. I don't know how it
Mm-hmm.
would have worked. And also that, you were playing Uncle Clifford in the play and then had to audition again.
I did.
Would you, I imagine you would have been really furious if someone else had taken the mantle of Uncle Clifford?
You know, I don't know if furious is the word. I would probably been really hurt. I knew. So, for example, when this started in 2009, we were doing these workshops with Katori Hall, who created the show. And she was a writer in residence at the Lark Theater at the time. And just to move the story forward through doing the workshops and things like that, there was so much conversation around, oh, you will never find actors to be able to do this show. This is too hard of a show. Oh, you have to do this with dancers. And so we did iterations of the show that had real pole dancers and real trained actors. There were different versions, and producers were going through their producerial thing of trying to figure out how that would work. Then there was this theater company that was bold enough and said, we want to produce the play, because the play was called PValley. Mm-hmm. And that was at Mixed Blood Theater. And that was in Minnesota, same place Prince is from, the musician Prince. So they had a little boldness going on there. So we did the full show there. But at the time, I had moved from New York and moved to LA to do more film and TV. And then I was here in LA for maybe about a year, a little over a year. And then the call came, oh, we're going to do the play. I want you to meet the director. And I was like, okay, we met, had a little meeting and everything like that. And then we went to go do the play. And I said, oh, but I didn't move to LA to do another play. I wanted to focus on my film and TV career. And one of the things I realized is that Hollywood is always going to be here, right? And I am a man who, my career has come about in a certain amount of time. There's been a gestation period where roles and opportunities, it just wasn't my time yet, right? And so I figured, well, Hollywood is always going to be there. And I had a survival job at the time, literally. There was a $7.32 difference between what I would have made if I stayed working at my survival job or if I went to go do the play. So I went and chose to do the play to make $7.32 more. And from there, it moved on. And there was all this conversation about it becoming a TV show, because the play was about maybe 2.5 hours. And people were so fascinated by the fact that their attention was held literally for 2.5 hours, and that they would feel things. People would leave the show bawling and weep. I never knew, and it was really impactful. So Katori was clear that she had something that was tangible there. When it came time to be produced as a TV show, I did have to audition, but I will tell you this. I didn't take that as an insult. I took it as an opportunity to let people know who Uncle Clifford is. What happened for me, and I say this to any artist out there that is going through that period of when is it my turn kind of mentality. There was a lot that happened for me during the space of those workshops, that production and moving it forward, where people did not see me in the role, or they only saw Uncle Clifford in a certain way, whether that was thinner, whether that was shorter, whether that was more fair-skinned. And so when it came time to audition for the TV show, when the call came, it wasn't about an insult. It was more so about the opportunity. Let me show you who she is, because I know who she is. So let me show you her skins. Let me show you how we need to do this so that we can have a non-binary representation that is a true human and that is not a joke, because that's not what's on the page. And I think a lot of times, because we, even artists, people, community, you haven't seen it like that before. And sometimes a lot of networks and creatives put it in the space of this little narrow space over here for LGBTQ plus character. And Katori opens the door. She bursts the door open for all of those characters, not just LGBTQ plus community members, but women, for these dancers, all these different marginalized communities. They get a full story. There's no small character on PValley. There's no small story. So everything has relevance, all the way from Duffy, who is our truck driver and white boy that brings all the things in and out from the club, to Big L, to Wody, to Azaria, who plays, Mercedes' daughter. it's a lot, and I just feel blessed to be a part of a show that's so inclusive.
What's it like when a show and a play, I've heard it described as magical realism. I think you might have even said magical realism. In season 2, which I've seen the first 4 episodes, it's a specific time. That changes so much of the show for me as a viewer, you know, rather than having it take place anytime or any place, because Chuckalissa is a, you know, fictional place. Now it feels more real. What's that like for you?
Responsible. And I say responsible because we are all living through a time right now. And these last couple of years have been very impactful, right? And how could we as artists not address it? You know, it feels like this is the perfect opportunity to show how this community made it through, how these characters make it through, and the things that they face, the trauma, the suicides, the tensions, the love, the pining, all of these feelings and emotions that we have felt in life, you know, the political unrest. I think seeing these characters go through something so similar, it can give hope to people who may still be in the midst of it. They may not even have come out to the other side of it yet, you know what I mean? And so I say responsible because we're telling a truth that is, and also clarifying, because sometimes people are like, well, is it 1980? What year does this show take place? But sometimes part of the South, that's the magic of like the American South, because it holds on to the past, but also has the future. You can have the latest iPhone, but you still can drive past the gas station and you're going to still see a payphone, you know, with a cord on the corner.
This season has a lot of moments, and not just, you know, certainly with the gravity of the past 2 years, as you're talking about, heavy, but also really funny and really light as well. What were some of your favorites this year?
Oh, you know, this year, I love that you guys get to meet and experience more of the core girls. So Peanut Butter, Extra Extra, Brazil, Jupiter, and them meeting with the 2 new girls that come into the club, Whisper and Roulette, played by Gail Bean. She plays Roulette, and Psalms Salazar plays Whisper. Seeing that interaction, they bring a lot of levity to me, and gravity and impact on a lot of their stories. But seeing the girls just be the family component of it, I think that's one of my favorites. Because sometimes you're laughing to keep yourself from crying, especially in these hard times, right?
And it really does take us sort of on that journey, often within one episode. I think it's so interesting the way that it does that. I've asked many of your co-stars this question, but curious, definitely from your perspective, all female directors and different ones, and each with their own voice. But what does that bring for you? What does that bring for Uncle Clifford?
I think it brings a little bit of spontaneity. I think it brings some freshness. Prior to working on PValley, I had only worked with, on camera, one female director. And I think that's quite sad. It's quite sad, you know. But working with all female directors this season and last season, it's been great. I think that Katori is always open to male directors as well. I think it's more so about understanding the female gaze, and in that meaning, you know, of course there are bodies that are in this space. We're in a strip club, right? But there's a way to film and document story and not without objectification. You know, I think that's one of the things that the female gaze does. I think also a female gaze has some equity in it, in that the male body is not something that is hidden, you know, and the female body is just out on Front Street. I think that there's a level of human stripped down nakedness that happens this season specifically, with the emotional weight of what's going on. But I think also just in the tone of the show, that this is a space where people exist and that these bodies are celebrated. And I think that having female directors are a part of that. I think that the female directors that we've worked with, there's a level of instinct that I feel women have, and that men oftentimes we have to work towards, or, you know, we have to focus to say, how is everyone feeling? What is the tone going on here? You know, as opposed to being so product oriented. Sometimes more about process.
You're certainly somebody who's influenced by music, for sure. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat interesting that your show can have, you know, like a fictional rapper, but like real music, actual music.
Yeah, real music.
What role does music play for you right now? What are some of the songs that have really been inspiring you?
Nicco, the actor?
Yeah.
I'm in love with Kendrick Lamar's new album. And even when I think about the show, I think about Auntie Diaries. That's one of his songs on that album. And he's talking about his experience with having his uncle become his auntie, you know, and being trans, and a cousin as well. So that's who I'm really rocking right now. I'm on an international wave, so I'm listening to many different artists from all over. Yeah, I could pull out my iPhone. Let me see who I'm looking. But go ahead, I'm with you.
This is what I like. Yeah.
Sunny Cologne. I'm really rocking with Sunny Cologne. I love Sunny Cologne. I found Sunny the other day. Who else is in here? I love Kalani and Blue Water. Raven Lene, her who else? Yeba, I love me some Yeba. Leia, Hello is the name of her album. So that's what I'm rocking right now. I'm in a different zone. Sometimes when I get done with PValley, I have my trap life and my trap music that's going on, and then I want a little more of a Thames vibe. I want to party and mellow out a little bit and give me some of the R&B, because Nicco is a balance of it all. I like the hype music, and I also like classical music as well. So yeah.
Well, I'm really amazed that it was a play, because it feels like a show. You know, sometimes there's a difficult translating, but it seems to work so seamlessly.
Well, that was one of the things when we did the play, because there was live pole dancing in the play. They're literally, you know, to be up on a pole and pouring out these diatribes of emotional and weighted monologues while doing a pole routine. It was a feat. It was truly a Cirque du Soleil kind of moment in the show, in the play, and people were quite mesmerized. And with some of them, how I knew that when we were doing the play, I was like, I think we got something, Katori. There's something really here. Was that there was one incident before intermission. Something happened in the play, and the people reacted like they were starting to run and like, we gotta go. They forgot that they were watching a play and thought that they were really in a strip club. And I was like, yo, we got them.
What's something that you want to preview for this season? It's an incredible season. I mean, last season was so good, but this season has many, many different elements to it. I've touched on a few. What do you think? What's something that the viewers are really going to look out for this season?
Thank you for that. I'm happy about that. I think one of the things that I will tease just a little bit about, I mean, you get to know everyone for real in their life. I'm excited for people to see where Uncle Clifford gets her fire from, and how the pink truly has come to be. You know that it's been passed down in generations, because Uncle Clifford says that to Autumn Night in season 1, I think episode 3. excuse me, but I feel this season there's a level of yeah, you're gonna get to experience why she wears this wedding band on her left hand on her ring finger. You're gonna see that. And the teaser I give you is that it belongs to Mama. Yeah, so it belongs to Mama. So you're gonna get to know a lot about that.
I can't wait. I'm jumping back in, you know, watching them the way I watch isn't enough. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna see on the big screen. It's a
That's
really,
what's up.
yeah.
I thank you because sometimes we created this in the middle of the pandemic, and you're thinking and you're hoping, and it's like I think people are gonna get it. No, it's really clear. It's this, and like just to hear how you're responding to it, I don't take that for granted. So I thank you.
And I thank you.